I just wanna feel like this. Living life, no regrets. Hands up in the air like ooh. Nothing's gonna break my mood. Yeah, I just wanna feel like this. Feel like this. Feel like this.
Hey friends, my name is Melvin
And I'm Melissa,
and we are Melsquare. Welcome to the first episode of our California road trip series.
Woohoo!
So, we started off our trip to California by flying into San Diego.
San Diego is a city on the Pacific Ocean coast in Southern California, and it's home to about 1.3 million people. It is known for its year-round Mediterranean climate, its beaches, and its association with the Navy in the United States.
It is also directly located adjacent to the Mexican border.
And hence it's rich with local history, culture, and cuisine.
In terms of getting to San Diego, there are two options. The first is to fly in directly into San Diego, and that's what we did. And the second option is to fly into LA and take either a train down or get a car hired down from Los Angeles. But we found that because the prices were quite similar from London Heathrow to San Diego as opposed to Los Angeles, we ended up going to San Diego straight away.
And it is important to note that although there is a train running from LA all the way to San Diego, it doesn't run as often and it's not commonly used by the Americans as compared to public transport and trains in the UK or Europe in general. So a lot of people we found generally just drive because it's a lot more flexible and a lot more common over there.
There's so many cars on the roads and all the cars are gigantic. What I found a little bit difficult to get used to was when I first got in the car was on left-hand drive instead of our regular right-hand drive here in the UK. So it took a little bit of getting used to it. From there, we made our way to our Airbnb, which was quite nice. I had our own check-in lockbox.
Ooh, Scotland cow.
And where did we go from there?
So we took a little while to just settle down, put our bags in, and then we went to Sunset Cliffs for sunset. It's quite a popular spot for sunset. It's just perched on a sandstone cliff and overlooking the horizon, where it's great because it's facing the east where the sun sets. There is a moderate sized car park where you literally just park your car and it's 10 steps to the location, so no hiking required, which was fairly easy. However, in San Diego, it's known that the month of June has something called June gloom, which means a lot of cloudy days. And unfortunately, when we went that day, it was fairly cloudy and the sunset wasn't as prominent. So we just spent some time just walking around the cliffs. There are a lot of runners over there as well who run just on the cliffs. Another thing to note, there are signs that says just beware because certain places the sandstone might erode, so don't go too near the edge because you might fall off.
And then we had some tacos at night, and then we had an early night in because we were quite tired and a little bit jet lagged. We woke up early the next morning though to go kayaking at the La Jolla Sea Caves. And that was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, we actually were quite on the fence whether or not to book the tour because it was slightly pricey, but we decided to book it just literally in the airport. And we do not regret. We highly recommend it. It was a really great experience looking at the sea caves from kayaking. So there are 7 unique sea caves in the La Jolla Sea Caves, and they are perched on a 1 million-year-old sandstone. And as the north face of the cliff eroded, it created this natural wonder. And this type of cave system is called the littoral cave system.
So we also spotted a variety of sea life, including sea lions, leopard sharks, as well as pelicans like the one in Finding Nemo.
Yep, it was really fun to spot them from kayaking. Also, the sea caves are usually accessible by kayaks and also snorkeling. But there are lifeguards on duty every day at the cove who looks at the weather and recommends whether or not it's safe to go into the sea caves. So when we were there, unfortunately, the waters were quite dangerous and we couldn't go into the cave itself, but it was still quite fun to see, to explore the outside of the caves and to learn about the history and the rich culture of the sea caves.
This is why we can't go in, by the way. It's that wave that they're concerned with. You can tell the wave like breaks inside of there. It basically sends you like all the way to the back like a big wave surf.
Another reason why we really enjoyed the tour was that the tour guides, there were 2 tour guides per group with the company that we went with. It's down in the link below. And they were very experienced and knowledgeable about that area, and also very fun. So it was really nice to just meet new people on the tour and learn about the area. We also learned about the ecosystem of the ocean, which was really interesting. Did you know that there are multiple micro-ecosystems in the sea or the ocean of San Diego? And we saw this gigantic piece of kelp, and it can actually grow really huge.
The leaves can grow up to 35 feet in length.
Yeah, and it was really interesting to see the stems, which were actually hollow. And it kind of reminded me of like a chemistry beaker.
And it's hollow as well, like a beaker. It's upside down beaker.
Yeah, and it basically fills with nitrogen so that the kelp can float to the surface. And basically, kelp is one of the plants that exchanges the most carbon dioxide to oxygen, and therefore it's very important in the ocean ecosystem and for humans as well, for air pollution. And what happened in the past is that humans used to hunt otters, which is the natural predator of sea urchins, who then eat the kelp. Now, because humans hunted the otters, therefore there are fewer otters. That means there are more sea urchins, and therefore the sea urchins eat the kelp, and therefore there are less kelp now. So a lot of activity is going towards saving the kelp, which is very vital in the ecosystem.
And next, we went to the children's pool. Why is it called the children's pool?
Because it's actually made so that it's very accessible for children. There is a flight of stairs that go down right to the beach, and it's also sort of like a cove.
There's a retaining wall basically that they built, a tiny beach that doesn't have that many waves, so that children can play. But you know who else likes to play in tiny waves?
Sea lions.
Yes.
Honestly, I really think that sea lions are a total mood. It's so cute to see the little sea lion puppies. Is that what they're called? That come up to the ocean. They just flop on their bellies coming up to the
like,
ocean.
Because they have little arms.
It kind of remind me of that the movie Meet the Robinsons. Have a big head, a little arm. But anyway, the adult sea lions, on the other hand, just literally stay on the warm sand and just chill there all day. What a life!
I know. We also saw a bunch of squirrels and brown pelicans perched on the rocks nearby the shore, near the children's pool. Interestingly, Melissa was more interested in the squirrels rather than the pelicans, but we didn't feed the squirrels because you're not supposed to.
Yeah, because they're wildlife still. But they're very friendly. They come up right to you.
And there were also people painting at the area, painting the children's cove, and it was absolutely beautiful. And the paintings for sale as well. Next, we went for lunch, and we were really excited about this because it was right on the docks. The name of the seafood place was called Mitch's Seafood. So we ended up parking a little bit away because it was really busy on a Saturday afternoon. Walked to the place right by the harbour. We had a bunch of different seafood. So my favorite was the clam chowder. What about yours?
Mine was the clam chowder. I think it was the best clam chowder I've ever had in my life. Honestly, it was really fresh and so flavorful. They also have different other types of seafoods. For example, raw oysters, which we had half a dozen. They had a fisherman's stew, as well as like sandwiches with either like crab.
So we got crab cake sandwiches. And the interesting thing, or the really good thing about it, is that they were very generous with all their portions. So the crab cakes were full of crab. The clam chowder was riddled with clams. So many clams in there. It was delicious.
Yeah. I honestly think that the portions of food in the US is also generally bigger than UK or Europe. So a lot of times when we did eat out, we would often like take it away so that we can eat it for a second meal. And
like it's common practice for people just to order more and take away the rest of it. So at Mitch's Seafood, we also had both indoor and outdoor seating. So indoor was more protected from the wind and things like that. Outdoor, you have seating way along the outside of the docks, and you can see all the ships coming in along the pier, and that was really beautiful as well. Just eating your food and just watching the seagulls, as well as ships being docked at the area.
On the marina as well, there are options to do one-day tours on the fishing boats, either for like a fishing excursion or if you just wanted to go further out on the waters. And as we were leaving after lunch, a child exclaimed, "Mommy, what a strange rock!"
The child was not necessarily British.
And everyone turned to look and see. And guess what it was? It was a giant sea lion just perched right on the edge of the marina, just in the shallow waters. And it was just posing as if waiting to be photographed. You know?
It knew that people were watching it, and it was just
Yeah.
raising its chest and just like relaxing there, like, take a look at me.
Yeah, this is why I really think sea lions are quite a mood. Yeah. After that, we just went back to our Airbnb to get ready for something really exciting.
Which is our friend's wedding. So I know Carmen for about 14 years now, went to high school with her. It was a great opportunity for us to visit California as well as attend her wedding.
Yeah, this was the main reason we came to the US, and we were really grateful that we could be part of their big day.
The wedding venue was beautiful as well. It was right by the San Diego waterfront.
And they were absolutely stunning. Congratulations, guys.
Yeah.
And by 11 p.m. we were tucked in and ready to go to sleep. Perhaps it was the jet lag, but perhaps we're just getting a little older.
That being said, we woke up the next day at 5 a.m.
The next morning, we went for a hike at the Torrey Pine State Park. There are free parking located along the beach outside, but it fills up really quickly, so if you want to get free parking, you have to arrive quite early. But there's also a paid parking inside, nearer to the trailhead, and this costs $20 but per entry. So Torrey pines are the rarest pine in North America, and it can only be found in two spots. The first is Torrey Pine State Park, and the second is Santa Rosa Island.
So we parked down at the car park, and then we got a hike all the way to the top. Had a beautiful view of all the different pines, and there was also a visitor center that you can go and learn about the state park. And there were really helpful staff there who, told us about the history and let us watch like documentaries and things like that.
So Dr. Terry wanted to honor his professor. His name was John Torrey. He gave the name to honor him. That's why it became Torrey Pines.
Yeah, it was really interesting because the ranger actually let us view some of the photos and also told us stories about the area. And apparently, it used to be a very popular restaurant where people from all over would come just to eat here. And apparently, because in the past, the cars couldn't actually drive all the way up, so they had to reverse all the way up the hill.
Because it was too steep for them to go straight forward, so they ended up reversing all the way up the hill in their old cars. And they would come from different states all across America.
It's pure dedication for lunch.
Yeah. So before we headed off to LA, our friends recommended that we try this taco place called Tacos El Gordo. There were a few locations all around San Diego, but we went to the original one right near the border with Mexico, and it was absolutely delicious. So you had multiple different stalls in the restaurant. So they all belong to the same restaurant, but they have different types of tacos that they serve. So you grab a tray, like a lunch tray, you go to each one, you request what you like. So there are different types of tacos with like cactus, cow's tongue, regular, like different types of
Spicy
tacos.
pork.
Yeah, spicy pulled pork. And they were all delicious tacos. And
I think my favorite was the spiced pork, and my second favorite was the beef with cactus. Over here we've got adobada, which is spicy pork, and we have chorizo, and then this is azteca, which is beef, grilled beef with cactus over there. Melvin is very satisfied. It was my first time actually eating cactus, and it was really, really cool actually. And until now, I think we're still talking about the tacos.
so
good.
No tacos will ever taste the same ever again.
Yeah. So if you enjoyed this, do like and subscribe down below, and follow us on the next part of our adventure in this California road trip where we head off to Los Angeles, the city of angels. See you there.
Bye.